Hello, and welcome everyone to my Killing Floor 2 review. The first off the bat, unlike the first review I did, we'll be going over the pros and cons first, and we're going to start off with the cons. The first con will be that the time that it'll take for you to level up your perks is generally really bad. They take way too long. I'm not entirely sure the exact timeline it takes for you to level that stuff up, but it could probably take upwards of 100 hours if you're not, or even more actually, probably more, of just constantly trying to max them out because the max level is 25. I don't know the exact XP count, but the most XP you can get is like probably 10,000 from one mission or one thing of survival where you go from wave 1 to wave 10. It's probably 10,000 because the boss gives you a decent amount of XP, but unless you have a map that's built to farm XP, you're just not doing it. Simple as. The next con is that the game on startup can be very bad, like really bad. Sometimes it can take several minutes, from 1 minute to 10 minutes. I think at one point it took like 15 minutes for it to boot up, where I had to walk off and just let it do its thing just to get to the main menu. There's a lot of game breaking bugs in it where you just can't continue. There's zero chance you're going to survive. Where if you press your keys too fast when you're going into the shop to purchase weapon upgrades or weapons or armor or ammo, uh, the trader pod closes and you're just screwed. There's nothing you can do. There's sometimes crashes for just tabbing out while the game's loading. And I think I just had it crash just from other weird things that I can't exactly figure out. It's weird. It's a old game. It's a 2016 game, so what do you expect? They don't fix anything. uh the next con is that for whatever reason they've added a lot of guns that you have to pay for and are really fucking strong, like stupid strong. There's a few exceptions of weaker guns, but most of the guns are paid for advantage, like the Corruptor Carbine, the Frost Fang, the Ion Thruster, uh, the Glock. The list goes on. I don't have all of them. The ones I do have are very decent. The minigun is an example of a garbage gun. Don't If you're not gonna buy it like individually, don't buy it at all. Like if you buy the super duper edition, the Armory Pass, I think is what it's called, then yeah, I wouldn't buy the minigun if you can avoid it. Um, they next con is they have a cosmetic season pass for whatever fucking reason. They added that shit into the game. I'm not sure when, but the game already has loot boxes in it, and they add a season pass for fucking skins. That is stupid. That is dumb. I hate it with the life of me. It's just annoying. I get you need money, but don't add a skin season pass, bro, when you already have loot boxes. Like, please. The next con is gonna be a big one in my opinion. You can't look at the weapons in the main menu or any other menu that will let you test them out. Like there's no firing range that you can go to and practice the recoil control or see the reload speed. You have to do it mid-match. You have to find a map that you can test it on. It's stupid, it's dumb, it's annoying. And that is the only way to see if you do or don't like the weapon that you're going to be potentially spending a lot of your dosh on, which is the in-game currency. The last con, and it is a big one for some people if they're not with friends, is that the objective game mode is bullshit solo. It was 100% intended for playing with friends or just randoms. So if you don't have friends or if you don't have randoms, you're shit out of luck and jolly well fucked. You're going to be headbutting a concrete wall, a brick wall, a steel wall, whichever you want to call it, till you succeed on the Hell on Earth difficulty. I was able to do it. It took me a while, and It was rough, but it is doable. But you will hate yourself doing it. Next is the pros. The gunplay is amazing. I love the gunplay. It feels really good. Really fucking good. What I'll say. When you sit there and you're shooting it, you can watch all of the bits of the gun bounce around, hop around, whichever you want to say. An example is like the M14. When you shoot it, you can watch the scope wobble, and it's awesome. During Z time too, when this it just goes to super duper slow motion, just watching all of it wobble, you can see some of the barrels shake, the scopes wobble, some of the extra parts just shaking around like crazy. It's awesome. It's amazing. Now, some of the DLC weapons are not that way. They didn't record the animations in a very high FPS, so when Z time occurs, you can see all that cool shit. It sucks. Even some of the new DLC weapons, the reload animations are worse, all that stuff. I forgot to mention that in the cons, I'm sorry. Um Speaking of Z time, we're going to go to the next con where Z time is just awesome. It gives you the breath of fresh air that you need to keep up the fight, whether by letting you have infinite ammo in your firearm, depending on your perks, shooting at ridiculous high rates of fire while the time is slowed to a crawl, so you're shooting in real time while the Zeds are moving 90% slower. It's insane. You can even, some perks will just let you move at supersonic speeds, just sitting there running at full speed as normal, or even faster than normal. I believe one of the classes can do. And you can just run circles around the Zeds while that stuff's activated. It's funny, just watching a clot try to swing at you in super slow motion, and you just sit there and just run around him, and you can just hit him in the back like you're Fist of the North Star. Next on the pros list is the maps. The characters and the music are very thematic with the way the game is. The music's awesome. It is subjective, though, because heavy metal is not for everyone. It is copywritten, unfortunately, so I can't show you some of the music. But if you do like heavy metal, I would check out the Tripwire playlist that they have. I'm pretty sure they have one on Spotify. I might be wrong on that. But I know on YouTube you can find their whole official soundtrack. There's a whole bunch of different bands, and there's Tripwire's official music as well that you can listen to. That is honestly really, really good. If you haven't heard it, I'd give it a try. The next pro is going to be the giving, which is the gore. When you shoot something and it just starts to fall apart. And that stuff's it's divine. When you sit there and you shoot a Zed, you blow up a Zed, melee a Zed, and they just turn into a million pieces with anything that you're able to use. Like, most of the melee weapons can bisect them, like, somewhat. Not, some of them can't do it clean. Like, some can do, like, from the head to the chest. Some of them can just do straight down, just clean through. Some of the shotgun, or most of the shotguns, if not all of them, when you shoot them with it, every single pellet rips them apart differently. The explosions, they just go flying into thousands of pieces. The fucking fire won't do much to them, but it starts to like char them and burn them. You have like microwave guns that sits there and starts to make them bloat up, and they'll explode after a while if you keep putting the paint on them. It's awesome. I love it. We are now at the perks section of the review, and for this section, we're going to discuss Z time a little bit more. Z time is meant to be the breath of fresh air that everyone is supposed to get, where you get to relax a little bit, you get to be more precise with your aim, taking headshots or weak spot hits, and just giving the Zeds a really hard time during this moment. And each perk has unique things that they can do, whether that be moving really fast while it's occurring, reloading really fast while it's occurring, shooting at full speed while it's occurring, doing more damage while it's occurring. It's a lot of things, and each perk will be discussed about what they can and can't do. I'm going to be basing these perks off the Hell on Earth difficulty. It is the hardest difficulty in the game as of right now. I doubt they're going to add anything else because this game is old. And every perk has 2 different skills to pick every 5 levels. Normally, each perk has a one-size-fits-all build. It's the superior choice 11 out of 10 times. Some perks have ones where it's here and there, maybe this, maybe that, depending on what weapon you're using, who you're playing with, and your personal feeling on the weapon or the perk. But some people are wrong, some people are right. I could be wrong, so who knows. And the first perk we're going to be basing this off of is the Berserker, and is a melee powerhouse. When he hits level 15, he starts to really shine, and could probably do Hell on Earth at level 15. He's very, very good. You can deal a shitload of damage at max level. Almost all of his weapons can do anything and everything. He's great at killing everything. He can do almost anything that you need a perk to do. He can do a lot, honestly. I could not play this class up anymore. He has night vision goggles. I don't see a point to those, but they do exist in the game. Like, 2 perks have it. This and Commando, I think. That's it. You carry EMP grenades. They are very good. They stop Zeds from using their special abilities. And it will stop them from running. It'll stop them from raging. And as a Berserker, you cannot be grabbed. Clots can't grab you. Bosses can. They can grab you, but that's fine. It doesn't really matter when they grab you. Normally it's a better thing to occur when they do grab you because other people can just shoot the shit out of them. And I'm going to now explain what my belief is for the best Berserker build. Now, I go Skirmisher over Dreadnought. Increased health doesn't matter when you can move faster, sprint faster when you have a perk weapon, which is it can be your knife even, and you regenerate health. I believe Butcher is stronger than Vampire because Vampire is good for when you're leveling up the class. When you're weaker than every other class, in my opinion, because you're meant to go in there and go punch shit in the face, but you can't really do much damage. But in the moment you feel confident with using Butcher, use Butcher. Faster movement speed, faster attack speed. That was a slip there. An oopsie daisy. And more melee damage. This is what this class wants, is melee damage. So for the third tree of skills, you have resistance or parry. So you either take less damage overall all the time, 24/7, or when you parry, you take even more reduced damage, do more melee damage, and attack speed. That's very strong. And you get cool little like flicker effects whenever you're attacking. Like, I think your light attacks are red, your heavy attacks are blue. It looks really cool. Your screen like has a visual effect, and it has like a sound that occurs whenever you're actually buffed. Now, this one is subjective. Smash or Massacre. I go Smash because most of my most of my weapons I like to use the heavy attack on. And, it does more headshot damage and all the like. As with Massacre, this is good for the DLC weapon, the Frostfang, because it is a shotgun that has a melee weapon attached to it. It's really good for that. There's a few weapons that Massacre works with, and if you build yourself around Massacre, you can do very, very well. Same with Smash. So it's give or take whichever weapons you feel like using. Massacre, if you have the Frostfang, just buy the Frostfang, go Massacre, and have at it. You're just gonna fucking win. And then Spartan is, my belief, the best one because just being able to move around at full speed, real time, just during Zen time, just move around, just being able to fucking beat the shit out of everything before it has a chance to even fucking react is ridiculous. It's very strong and kind of broken, in my opinion. This class, or perk, can do anything. Can kill everything, kill anything. If you want something to kind of chill out with and have a good time, go Berserker for solo and co-op. just fuck shit up. And this is the commando. You can read, I hope. He uses assault rifles, machine guns, like I said earlier, the minigun. He's great at dealing with the trash enemies of the game and some of the medium Zeds. You know, he can deal with the medium Zeds, the small Zeds, and he can do okay against some of the large Zeds, and some of the bosses. He's okay with some of the bosses. He has night vision goggles, which is weird. Like I said, he can call out cloaked Zeds, which cloaked Zeds are invisible. He extends Zed time with every kill he gets. So, normally Zed time, I don't know the exact time, but say it's 2 seconds, he adds an extra second every time he gets a kill. It's best to allow Commando to kill the weak Zeds. If you have a Commando on the team, if you see like a Crawler, if you see a Stalker that the Commando is pointing out, because they do cloak, he should be the one to kill it, so you can keep Zed time up. It'll allow you to kill more things quickly. It's very strong. And it extends it for the rest of the team, not just him. And I'm going to go into the Commando now for his skills. In my opinion, this is the best build for him. The only time you go these two perks is if you're using the minigun. And like I said, the minigun is terrible. So just going this, it lets you do a lot of damage. It lets you pump out numbers for the enemies that you're meant to kill. If you can kill 2 of the 3 large Zeds. But if you mess up and you aggro the big Zeds, you can kill your team off by accident. So I would recommend just going for the medium Zeds and the small Zeds as Commando. Let the big game hunters just annihilate them and do what you do best and make sure Zed time stays up for as long as physically possible. Delay your kills and keep up the fight. Keep up the hate. Do what you can. Reload faster, more stumble power, more ammo, always great. More damage, always great. And shooting at full speed and switching perk weapons twice as fast when in Zed time, amazing. You will never run out of ammo during Zed time. Unlike some classes. Very strong. Great at... is okay at solo. Not great at solo. Okay at solo, but great in co-op. Your weapons will struggle to kill the bosses, but you can kill bosses with Commando. So do keep that in mind. You're not going to be able to do everything for your team, but you can help in many other ways. And now we are going to the support class. Or support perk. Keep talking about the wrong fucking game. Okay, like the name suggests, you are a support class. You use shotguns. He has a higher carrying capacity for weapons. Everything has a weight to it. Every gun, doesn't matter, has a weight to it. And you give out ammo to your team. If they run up to you and hit the use key, which is normally E for PC and square and X for console, it gives you a specific amount of ammo depending on the skills the support picks, which those skills can give armor, and the skills the receiver picks. Skills that increase ammo reserves, magazine size, etc., etc. It's a very complicated thing. I could not give you the exact amount because it is a very, very weird code. Too much work. Way too much. Not even the average person would be able to understand how to do the math for all this. But you can weld doors really fast. You can fix doors really fast that the Zeds break down. So when you weld a door, the Zeds can destroy it where it's down on the ground. You can't weld it anymore. Support can run up over there, fix it. It takes a minute. It takes a little bit to fix, but you can do it, which allows you to keep your choke point secured. Now, the support is a big game hunter and a horde clear. He can do both, but you should pick one or the other at the moment. So if you feel like your team is not doing well with horde clear, you should have one of each shotgun type. One for horde clear, one for big game. Make sure that you're paying attention to what you have, how much ammo is in each, and just get ready to decimate things. In my opinion, these are his best perks, or skills. I'm going to fuck this up the whole time. So, tactical reload over high capacity. You don't want magazine size. You need to reload as as support. That is true later on, though. You do need to reload fast as demo. But you need to reload fast as support. There is no lollygagging with this class. If you get caught out reloading, you're dead as this class. With salvo, more gun damage. You need more damage as this class. You're not going to make it without doing more damage. Like, yeah, I can have my health increase, my DR increase, or I could just have it fucking dead. Armor piercing shot is pretty decent if you're going to barrel stuff the shit out of things. But this game is quite realistic with its choke. It starts out real small, but it starts to spread out quite a bit the further and further you get. To where long-range snipes aren't very good. Now, this is a solo build for this specific skill. Now, if you are in co-op, you go resupply pack every time. You never pick concussion rounds. Concussion rounds is only for solo. Co-op, solo. Co-op, solo. Alright? Good. Resupply pack gives you more ammo to your teammates, gives armor to your teammates. And you carry a little bit more ammo, but the stumble power helps you in solo because it'll stop them from chasing you some. If not outright killing them. So if it doesn't kill them, they'll probably fall over. Or just get tripped up and then they have to do their animations again to rage, etc., etc. Now, depending on the weapons you pick, 9 times out of 10 you're picking a semi-auto weapon. So you want Penetrator. It lets you reload in full... Not reload. Reload? Yes, it does let you reload in full time. I'm thinking of Barrage. It lets you reload in full time. And it lets you... All your shots have no damage reduction when going through the Zeds. So if you have like 5 Zeds in a row, and it can penetrate all 5 of them, it'll just keep going, doing full damage no matter what. Now, early on, Barrage works, because you'll have a pump action, and it shoots really slow in Zed time. But you can watch the gun bounce around a little bit with the manipulation of the firearm. It's very fun to watch. But early game, Barrage, or if you're using a pump action or a lever action, like the Frostfang, go Barrage, Penetrator for every other gun. That's semi-auto. Support is great solo, great co-op, amazing for both, honestly. Fun little fact about the double-barreled and the Doomstick, which is the quadruple-barreled shotgun. If you jump and fire all the barrels at the same time, so the alternative fire, you will go flying. So you can shotgun jump. And there are... A lot of the maps are designed around the extra mobility that some of the weapons can give you. And it's very fun. I would recommend trying support out, grabbing the double barrel, grabbing the Doomstick, or both even, that works too, and just having some fun with it, you know, bouncing around the map and just seeing what kind of shenanigans you can get away with. Now the Field Medic, obviously he's the doctor of the group, a lot of health regen, can move pretty fast, a lot faster than the usual perk, but can move pretty fast. He can pull out some really crazy clutches with his ability to sustain and get his team to the next round. He's pretty decent at killing hordes, but his main goal is to shoot their guns, healing stem, and throwing their grenades at teammates to buff them, to heal them, and to deal dot damage to the Zeds that are getting hit by those darts, that are getting hit by those grenades. Because the medic grenade is an AoE area of effect that sits there and does dot damage over time to the Zeds. It's not a lot, but it is something. And it can cause them to start panicking and shaking around and doing weird shit. Which can be bad for the sniper, but if your sniper needs a heal, he's not going to cry about it. Now, this is a solo play build. 100% a solo play build. Now, I feel for Field Medic, you always go this. you always go symbiotic health. Single player or co-op, you always increase your health and increase your healing of your teammates, which healing teammates will also heal you. Big boon, you don't have to stem yourself very often. Now, if you're doing PvP, you can do this, or you can do that for level 25. So for I said PvP. I'm sorry, I meant co-op. PvP is weird. I've never really got to play it because not many servers are open anymore. Anyways, increasing players' movement speed is very strong. All these perks here affect you, but it's very hard to affect yourself when you're not able to heal teammates. You're only able to heal yourself with the Corruptor Carbine and the Stem. Stem might give it to you. But your grenades do as well, but you don't have many chances to keep getting grenades. I think Medic Missile as well. I might have already said Medic Missile. It doesn't matter. But for co-op, increase movement speed for your teammates instead of magazine size. Like, yeah, magazine size and movement speed is great, but you increase everyone's movement speed. Everyone can flee if they have to. More damage for your team. And a 20% bonus in damage at that, instead of increasing poison darts effectiveness. And poison darts are just, you shoot them, they start taking damage. With the stem, specifically. Giving DR to your teammates of 30%. Some characters might actually survive a hit because they had that DR. Whereas 20% more damage, you already do no damage. So why would you increase 20% of 0? Like, it's not worth it. Now this is pretty good. Now, whenever there's if you have a problem with dealing with trash Zeds, this is the answer here. If not, you heal your teammates close by, no issue. I think Zedative is better than Airborne Agent, just because you get more heals out than you normally would. And it's going to affect the front line more than the back line, because you're probably standing near the back instead of the front. Because you want to be able to see most of your teammates. Like if you're going a full 6-man, you want to see 4 out of your 6 teammates. At least. So you can sit there and just stem. I would not recommend for solo, but you can do it. Obviously, I was doing it because I had these perks selected. Co-op, you kind of need them on Hell on Earth. You kind of do. If your team isn't like the best of the best, you need a doctor. You just need a field medic. You're not going to do any damage to the bosses. So pray your teammates can kill them. If your teammates can't kill them, you better ditch your gear and pick someone else's shit up. Because you're not killing anything. Even if it's not your perk weapon, you don't do more damage with your perk weapons. So you're already going off base damage. So you might as well pick up the crazy ass guns and go to town on them. Now we have Demo, the Demolitionist. You are a burst damage, area of effect, AoE master. You hand out grenades to your teammates. Just like the support perk, they walk up to you, press the interact button, they get 1 grenade. Demolicious can walk up to doors and start welding them, or continue to weld, or even, whenever it's at 100% weld, he can weld it some more to add a bomb to it. And it is a massive explosion, by the way. That bomb does crazy damage. I'm not entirely sure what all it can kill, but it can kill all small Zeds. And I'm pretty sure it can kill most of the medium Zeds. So, he does some work. I will also say that with Demolitionists, you have to be very careful. You can hurt yourself as Demo, obviously. You are a person that just shoots fucking grenades and explosives and all that shit. His grenade will stun characters. It does stun. If it hits them directly, it'll detonate instantly and stun the target. He also has something called reactive armor, where if you were to be killed by a hit, you explode in an area around you. It does a good amount of damage. It will kill every small Zed. I do know that for a fact. I don't know about medium Zeds, but small Zeds, dead. And it resets you to 5 health. Now, if you get hit again right afterwards, you're dead. But You know, it'll stun them, it'll kill them, you're fine. You're not going to have many issues after that. Unless something just comes around the corner and fucking clotheslines you, then you're screwed. It can be a lifesaver in bad moments. I know I've saved my ass a couple of times. You're great at big game hunting and horde clear. You're great at it, honestly. Like, really good at both. It's just that you are doing it in short bursts. So you don't want to sit there and see one, like, little guy and waste a shot on that. You want them to group up more and then go for the shot. Uh, you have to be careful since you don't carry too much ammunition. You don't have a lot. Some guns you do, some you don't. But the ones you do have a lot in, you don't do a lot of damage with it. So you have to be careful with that. Um, it's best to let someone else kill the small guys, you know, the really small Zeds. But if you have to, you have to. Like I said in the support thing earlier, you want to reload quick. Like, yeah, you can do more damage, but you can't do a lot of damage if you're stuck in a reload animation. So there's that. You do increase your knockdown, which it will knock down almost anything. Already doing that, you know, it's good. You want more ammo. You already have nothing. Like, you are broke for ammunition, so carrying more is great. Like, yeah, I can do 25% more damage, or I can do 250% more damage with just these rockets, grenades, whatever I can think of. But it does not work to C4. C4 can be okay. It's not great, but it works. Now, you want sonic resistant rounds. Sirens destroy explosives, so you need sonic resistant rounds if you're planning on doing anything after like wave 2. Or even sometimes during wave 2 sirens can spawn, so please go sonic resistant. It will save your life. Armor piercing rounds is pretty good for bosses, for scrakes, for flesh pounds, which are the big guys. If it doesn't outright kill them, they're so low that literally anyone else can kill them. And, like, yeah, stumble power is great and knockdown and all that, but just being able to straight up kill them is great. Now, this one is iffy. I love Destroyer Worlds because I love seeing the mushroom cloud appear after you get that Z time activation. You can just sit there and send out a nuke. This damage is insane. It does so much fucking damage. It will kill almost anything if they stand in it long enough. And even if they walk out of it, they're still getting poisoned. They're still taking the radiation damage. It doesn't affect teammates, so you're good. You're clear, set. So, shooting in real time and reloading in real time also works out. It's just up to you. Just be careful, because you can kill yourself with the Mad Bomber perk, so be very careful. Now we're going to be discussing Firebug. I love this class, but that is not going to be swaying anything. He is the sustained AoE master of the group. You can constantly be pumping out damage to the small and medium Zeds. You're great at killing everything up to large Zeds. You're kind of okay at killing bosses depending on what weapon you're using. But I would avoid hitting the big Zeds because you don't want them to start panicking where they sit there and they flail around and they don't keep their heads still. So the big game hunters can kill them. You don't want Sharpshooter screaming at you all match because you keep making him miss. Now your number one goal as this perk is to kill anything that gets close to you. You don't want the little guys coming in and punching the sniper or the gunslinger or the support or anything like that. You want them to be left alone while everyone else sits there and pumps out damage. Now, this is my opinion of the best perks for Firebug. Now, I can understand if you take high capacity fuel tank. Wait, my game just crashed. Never mind. I'm sorry. You can take high capacity fuel tank if you're not very confident with the fire damage that you can deal out, but you can deal out a lot of damage. You're gonna fucking do a lot. Ground fire is easily the best perk for this class. Ground fire does ridiculous damage, like triple the damage. So when you light the ground on fire, you're doing 335% more damage with just these two perks. It's stupid. Now, Zed Shrapnel, it doesn't sound very good until you realize that there's hundreds of Zeds running at you, and 30% of hundreds is a lot. So, just keeping it up, constantly causing, like, even, it can daisy chain too, where an explosion leads to an explosion. It's pretty funny, honestly. It's very strong. Firestorm can do very well, since it's increasing ground fire duration, and like we said, ground fire is very strong. And you could do heat wave and make them stumble, but they should be dead. Just shoot the ground. They'll probably stumble if you just shoot at the ground. They don't like fire at all in this game. It's crazy. Now, this doesn't sound good at first until you realize that infinite ammo in this game, like when it says you never run out of ammo, it means that you don't have to reload. So if your gun is at 0, you can still shoot and keep up the pressure until the Z time ends. Then you obviously have to reload. And you can actually reload cancel to where if you're sitting there and you're reloading and Z time procs, you can start a melee attack and shoot, and it'll reset the reload animation to where you can just shoot now instead of doing that long ass, slow ass reload. It's great. Firebug's awesome. If you go certain weapons, he can absolutely be a menace to the Zeds and your teammates because they're trying to get headshots. Because you don't want the Zeds to start panicking. But great class in solo and co-op. But I would recommend to swap to a different class during the boss fight if you're not good at fighting bosses as Firebug. Because it can be difficult to kill him since you are not meant for single target, but area of effect. I would say the same for Demo, since he is kind of a pain to learn how to do that stuff as well. But once you learn with Demo, you're fine. And I'm pretty sure I forgot to say that Demo is amazing for solo and co-op. I might be wrong. But anyways, let's go to the Gunslinger. Very fast, very hard-hitting. He does a lot for the team. He's meant to take out everything. You know, anything and everything he's going to take out. He's mainly using pistols. That's his only thing, is just handguns. He can use the lever actions, I believe both of them, but that's about it for long guns. He's a big game hunter, he's a small game hunter, he's a medium game hunter, but you are wasting your ammo on the small game if you're in co-op, because you don't carry much ammo for the guns that you want to carry except the Glock. But if you have the Glock, you're fine. Ammo conservation is your number one goal for this class. You want headshots left and right. You want to start shattering skulls. So make sure your aim's precise. Make sure you're accurate. Just have a good time with this class, honestly. You move so fast. You're rocking as this class. You're doing great. And you have the 1911 as well, but you don't want to really be worrying about carrying the 1911 later on when you need dual-wield deagles and upgrading it, etc., etc. Semantics for that, but you really don't want to have to keep those small game weapons out either, because if a big game shows up and someone accidentally aggroes it, you want to be able to kill it too. So there's also that. So we're going to talk about the skills. I rambled about Gunslinger, I'm sorry. Oh, I was yapping. So, in my opinion, these are the best perks for the class. It's it looks weird until you start reading what each perk does, because the gunslinger is just meant to constantly doing whatever the fuck he needs to do. You swap weapons faster. Excuse me. You do more headshot damage, and it ramps up every time you get a headshot. And reloading faster is important as this class because your weapons hold no fucking ammo. You do more damage with headshots, obvious, and just being able to not run out of ammo as gunslinger, where you have dual wield deagles just going to town on something's fucking face, it does a lot for your team. Unironically, just being able to blow something's head off in mere seconds is great. Awesome class, fun class, does a lot of damage. Already said that. Can play in both solo and co-op, no issues, no problems asked. No one's gonna complain if you pick sharp or gunslinger, and no one's gonna complain if you pick sharpshooter and are good at dealing some damage. Now, sharpshooter is an interesting one because a lot of his perks are very subjective. If you are in a spot where you can just camp it the fuck up, you can sit there, glue your ass to the floor, and just do whatever you want. This works a lot very well. This one's good too. This is a good build. That's a good build. This is a good build. Sharpshooter, like, you can sub this into. Sharpshooter is so unique. He's so build diverse. Like, if you're not confident with headshots, you can go tactical reload. But if you're playing sharpshooter, you need to go for headshots. His whole thing is about getting headshots. His grenade freezes people. Makes him stand still so he can sit there and get those headshots. So, in my opinion, you want to find out what's right for you. If sharpshooter is not right for you, just don't play sharpshooter. If you can't get constant headshots, or not even constant, but you can get the headshots on the big guys and body shots on the little guys. Do what you need to do to win as sharpshooter. Just make sure that you're doing your job. Kill the big game. That's all people are going to ask of you. And that's pretty much it. Kill the big guys. Freeze the big guys. Kill the big guys. You don't have much ammo for your higher tier guns, except the FAL. And just go to town. Do what you got to do to win. Headshots. At level 25, headshots have a chance to start Z time, and both of them do that too. And just get ready to fuck shit up. Let your commando do his thing, and good to go. Alright, so with SWAT, you are the get down Mr. President class. You're the bodyguard. You are meant to protect all your other perks. You're meant to be out in the front of everybody else next to the Berserker and going to town. You use submachine guns and wreck shit. Now, this class is meant to kill everything, but the big guys, he can kill big guys because he has the flashbang, which allows him to stun Zeds, but if they're raging, it doesn't fucking matter. You're gonna get your shit rocked. You can throw out bullets like no tomorrow because you're using submachine guns, high rate of fire. Okay damage, sometimes weak, but okay. You can carry a lot of guns on you. You can carry like 3 or 4 SMGs depending on the ones you pick. So you have a lot of ammo to go around to, help spread the love a little and not let your other perks waste their ammunition that struggle to kill things that are small because they only have a small ammo pool. You're just meant as a body in a way. Like, you're meant as a flesh shield. Just go in there and fuck shit up. I believe every round you regenerate armor or something like that. Yeah, that's a perk. I'm sorry. So with SWAT, your first perk, you always want heavy armor training. Not taking health damage and starting with 50% armor is pretty good, especially if you can keep that armor. It's strong. Very good. If you can keep it at level from wave 1 to wave 2, you already saved. What, this class gets extra armor, right? No. Okay, so you get 50 armor, that's 150 dosh. Saved right there. Now, level first wave, when you start in the game, you always go close combat training. You get a free dual wield pistol for the 9mm. You get a free dual wield. You know, that's $75 that you get for free. Really strong. And then after wave 1, you go to tactical reload because there's no fucking point using this. Now, for the next one, more ammo. You always want more ammo as this class. You can never have enough ammo as this class. Like, yeah, I can stumble them more, or I can just have more ammo to kill things faster with my better guns. Kill the big game with my better guns and whop out the weaker versions of my guns to kill the small guys. More armor's good. That way you can just sit there, save money, because you regenerate armor. And you carry more armor, so that's 150 extra health, because your armor doesn't get destroyed. And you can't get grabbed by clots. When you have armor, at least. When... For level 25, it's funny, I've heard people argue that battering ram's good, but I feel unlimited ammo, shoot in real time, and increasing the stumble power by 100% is way better. Just fuck shit up. Be a menace to these Zeds. Just bust out the Vector like it is in the image here. Bust out the Glock with the Riot Shield, which is another DLC weapon that you get when you purchase the Glock, I believe. And just unload. Turn everything into mincemeat. Let your let your commando get kills when he can. But other than that, wreck shit. I would not recommend solo, but he can do it. Co-op, he's definitely worth keeping around. Now the survivalists. The good old survivalists. The red-headed stepchild of the game. This perk is meant to be a hybrid of all the classes, but he doesn't work at it at all, because a jack of all trades masters nothing. He gets no good skills to help carry his class. He has a couple unique weapons. One of them is really fucking good. He can have medic grenades, but don't play this class. Play him to level him up and don't touch him. If you're going to prestige him, okay, you know, whatever. Just get ready for a long-ass fucking landslide of boring bullshit. Now, this has to be his best class. There's no way around it. This has to be his best build. It has to be his best. I don't see any other way that this isn't his best build. More damage. I'm sorry. Yeah, more melee damage. More reload speed for the weapons you're most likely going to use. You get more ammo and a healing grenade, which is his best grenade. You get the explosion chance with killing a Zed, and you shoot 3 times faster. I'm pretty sure it's 3 times faster of Zed time, but overall, it's not a bad... it's not a good class. It's a very bad class, and it's not a good class. It's not good solo. It's not good co-op. Just, if you're gonna play him, just fucking play him and get it over with. Now, granted, he can swap weapons pretty fast. He's got heavy body armor. which I think I can't remember what it does. I can't. Even, it doesn't matter. Just don't play this fucking class. This class is. All right, we are now at the enemies section of the review. I will be showing what they look like with a real image of them. I will kind of describe them. It's not going to be very intricate. They do have regular health for their whole body, and then they have head health. So headshots can sometimes cause their head to pop, but not kill them outright till the regular health reaches 0, which will rapidly tick down when the head is popped. Every Zed can survive for a little while without the head, but 90% of the time they will die just from taking the head off if you're using something that isn't the 9mm or the knife or the weaker weapons of the game. But to start out, the smallest of the Zeds, well, that's also not true, but the most common Zed you'll see at the beginning of the game is just the regular cyst. They're part of the Clot family. They have a normal-ish white skin tone color. Normal as in air quotes, it's like a white person, but a more flesh color, I guess is the way to put it. They're the weakest enemy in the game. They slowly walk towards you. They are meant to distract you from the scarier enemies. They'll attempt to grab you when they get close, so the stronger Zeds can kill you. They're nothing crazy. There's the Alpha Clot. They're obviously a part of the Clot family. Same color as the Cyst. Pretty fast. They're meant to run in and swarm you once they're enraged. They attempt to grab you just like the Cyst does. They'll also try to let the bigger Zeds kill you. The Slasher is another member of the Clot family. Same skin tone as their two other brothers. Very fast. They twitch a lot, so they'll move their head, their arms, their legs. Very weird. It makes headshots a pain in the ass at times. They're able to deal out a lot of damage. If you get cornered by these guys, they're gonna fuck you up. They could probably kill you if you get unlucky. Don't underestimate these guys. They'll rip you to shreds, like the name kind of suggests. They'll just slash you to pieces. I'm pretty sure these guys can grab you as well. They'll, like all the other Clots that grab, they will bite you as well. They're not just going to sit there and hold on to you. They're going to do some damage, but it's not instant grab damage. It's grab, and they lean back and then go to bite you. Next is the Stalker. This is a invisible woman. She'll run at you or your team and attempt to flank you. She'll try to go from your left shoulder, your right shoulder, or even behind you and get in your flanks. There's only a few ways to tell that these characters are around. It is they shimmer like kind of like the water does. They kind of shimmer a little bit. It can be very hard to see in the heat of the moment, but if you're paying attention, you will notice them. They sometimes do it. It's not like 24/7 they shimmer. It's a shimmer every few seconds. The higher the difficulty, the more it occurs. And this is all hell on earth stuff. We're not going off of the lower difficulties. They make noises. I'm not entirely sure how to describe it. Like, they kind of groanish noise. I'm not sure what to call it, but they make noises. You can tell they make a certain noise when they move. You'll hear them most likely before you see them in some situations. And Commando can highlight them red for the team, so they're not hard to miss when you have a Commando on the team. They're like you see them, done. And they will attempt to dodge you. When you aim at them, they'll try to move out of the way. They'll do somersaults and stuff. They're crazy. They're very fast, agile. They do a lot of damage, too. If you let them hit you, they'll just start breakdancing and doing a shitload of damage just from multiple hits at the same time. And they can shove you a little, too, with their hits. So try to get rid of them before they get close, but they're not, high priority targets. We have the Crawler, which is a tiny little jet black Zed. They have extra limbs on them. They look like a spider. They're pretty quick. Their little stature lets them Excuse me. It lets them hide and get around your line of sight easily because when you're aim down sights, your scope, your iron sights, your teammates are blocking your cone of vision. They'll try to get around you. They can spawn in some very weird spots around the map because they're so tiny. And they can just quickly run up to you. They sometimes make noise, they sometimes don't. I don't know what the prerequisites are for that, but they will just come up to your ankles and just rip you to shreds if you let them. Try to kill these guys quick, too. It's not like the end of the world if they get close, but it's better to not take needless damage because these little bastards snuck in. And the last of the small Zeds, ironically, this is a small Zed, is the Gorefast. Excuse me. Where their body is completely red, like muscle red, and a white head. Their right arm is a sword. So instead of a regular ass arm, it's just a sword arm. And they can actually block gunshots and bullets with that arm. It does like 10% of the normal damage it would normally take, but it's still not gonna give a shit. They're pretty fast and they're pretty tanky, and they hit pretty damn hard for what they're meant to. So do not underestimate these guys. If they're allowed to get in close, they will clothesline you. They'll fuck you up. They have a pretty wide arcing attack with their sword. But if you treat them like the threat they are, they're easy to deal with. Headshots put them down like easy. Body shots, just put an extra bullet or two in them to make sure they're actually dead. You don't want them to come crawling. Not crawling, because no Zed crawls like it's COD Zombies, but just make sure that you take care of these little bastards. So we're going to go to the Elite Zeds. Elite Zeds are the more advanced version of the small Zeds. They're not too crazy, and they're not like that much stronger. They're not a medium Zed, and they're not a small Zed. They're somewhere in the middle, so just Elites works out for this. There's the Rioteer, which is, again, another member of the Kalot family, so they can grab. They are a bit different, though, in the fact that they're an albino white, like just the color white, with blue veins, and have metal armor covering their head and the front of their chest. So if you shoot them in the back, you're fine. If you shoot them in the arms and legs, you're gonna do full damage. But if you hit them with an AoE or a dot attack, area of effect, damage over time effect, it'll spread the damage between the armor panels. So the head has an armor health, the chest has an armor health, and of course their actual head hitbox has health, and the rest of their body has health. It'll spread it evenly between the chest, or the chest plate, the head plate, and the body health. So you want to hit them with actual bullets, not a rocket launcher, a grenade, flamethrower, anything like that. You want to hit them with physical objects. Now, if you're a demolitionist with a grenade launcher, you can hit them in the face with the grenade before it detonates, and that counts. That'll do headshot damage. It could kill him. High chance it will if you're playing right. When his armor breaks, he'll move faster. The more pieces of it you break, so if you break his head, he'll start running a little faster. If you break his chest, he hauls ass. He's fast as shit without his armor on. So you want to kill him without the armor breaking. He has a special ability called the Rallying Cry that buffs all Zeds and around a 10-meter radius around them to make them start running if they're not already. They'll do more damage. You want to kill these guys fast. You see them, you kill them. You don't want them to get into a massive horde with a Scrake, a Flesh Pound, fucking just making all these big guys just start fucking tweaking and raging and just running at you. That shit's scary. Kill them fast. Now the Crawler... Oh, I'm sorry. Before I forget, the buff time is about 15 seconds. I think that's the cooldown is 15 seconds. I think that's what the website says, but it feels like it's faster than that, so take that with a pinch of salt, because I don't think they've updated their website in fucking years. So the Elite Crawler, he's got no special name, just the Elite Crawler. Instead of being jet black, these guys are white, just like the Rioteer. They're white as fuck. They have blue features, so blue eyes, blue veins kind of going around them. So they're easy to spot from the non-elite counterparts. The twist is that if you kill them with a non-headshot, they will explode like a bomb, but it's a gas bomb. Does damage to everyone in a small area around it when it detonates, and it leaves a lingering effect where it obscures your view when you're standing in it, when it detonates. It does a small amount of damage. It's noticeable, but it's not like that bad. So you can stand in the gas. I'd try to avoid it because needless damage is needless damage. I think it shreds armor too. I might be wrong. It can hurt the Zeds, but it's like 1 point of damage every second they stand in it, so it's like fucking nothing. The Stalkers and Crawlers are the ones that benefit from this the most, though, because they'll dodge out of the way of it when it hits them. Flesh Pounds will kind of dodge. So they can dodge your missiles, your grenades, and all that because they step in the cloud. So it makes them scatter. That's the problem with this. So if you see an Elite Crawler, try to headshot it. If you don't, it's whatever. It's just it's going to be a little harder for other people to deal with the scary things. Or the annoying things. And with the cloud being in the way, it can be hard to spot some of the... Like the Stalker that's standing near the cloud is very hard to spot because it covers the shimmer a lot more. So just be careful with that. The last Elite Zed is the Gorefiend. It's the Gore Fast, but instead of red, he's pitch black. He's got 2 blade arms instead of just 1. So when you're shooting at him or aiming at him, he'll cross the swords to try to cover his face or chest, depending on where you're shooting at. Nothing changes. They're more healthier. They do more damage. And have way more cleaving potential of hitting multiple people because of their attacks. So just be careful with these guys. Do not underestimate them. They will kill you if you let them. Okay, so for the medium Zeds, we have the Bloat. He's a big fat ass, carries 2 cleavers. He walks really slow towards you. He's meant to be a literal meat shield for the zombies, or the Zeds. Let's be real, they're Zeds. They're not zombies. They're clones. They can deal some decent damage to you and your squad if you let them come in and vomit on you, they're going to do a lot of damage. The bile just does so much dot damage. It covers up your screen with a gross green effect. They can deal good damage in the very rare occasion when they melee, but most of the time, that's only if they're EMP'd and their head's missing. They can't explode when you shoot them in the chest. If you kill them with a chest shot, they'll explode and like put bile bombs everywhere. And those can be shot to be destroyed, or you can run into them by accident to get the same bile effect of being vomited on. So you want to headshot these guys as much as you can. You see them, you headshot them, then they're completely disabled. They'll die pretty quick once their head's gone. They have a statistically really high chance of surviving after getting headshot as well. They're most likely not going to die once you take their head off, so just go on to the next set. If they're in the way, just shoot them once or twice and you'll be fine. I think that's everything about the Bloat. Oh, they do move pretty fast when they go to vomit too. So when they start to vomit, they get a lot of momentum because they like lean forward and they start to like trip on themselves and start running a little. So also be careful with that, I will say. Okay, the Siren is a female Zed. She's loud as fuck. She's an AoE anti-explosive armor ignoring damage dealer. That is a mouthful. So when she screams, all grenades and explosives are useless because she destroys them unless you have that demolitionist perk I talked about that dictates otherwise. The scream goes right through armor, so if you're wearing armor on, that you buy from the armor from the trader pod, or if you find them on the ground, it's going straight through it. It doesn't care. It does a lot of damage. And I'm pretty sure there are no perks that protect you from the Siren Scream. When she screams, it distorts the area around her, and the closer you get to her, it starts to shake your screen, and if you're really close, it shakes it a lot. I might have footage of that. I doubt I'll be able to find it. They can melee too, but sometimes they'll just opt to scream instead, which it'll shred your health a lot. They're kill on sight. The moment you see these bitches, put them down. Because you don't want it to be to where there's 2 or 3 or God forbid 4 of them. Because if there's 4, your team's dead. If they get close enough to where the multiple of them can hit you at the same exact time, it stacks. So it's every single one hitting you independently. And they scream for a while. They have a pretty short cooldown on it. I think it's like 4 seconds or so, and then they can scream again. It's rough to deal with them, so kill them as soon as you see them. Do not let them become the problem they can be. So now we have the Husk. Completely charred. Male clad with a flame cannon attached to his right arm. They can shoot either a little fireball, it's pretty big, or a stream of fire, depending on their range. So if they're far away, they'll shoot the fireball. You can dodge it. You normally want to try to start running and then jump right when they shoot, so they'll most likely miss. They can get pretty lucky and hit you rarely, but normally they miss. Or they'll run at you and shoot it like it's a traditional flamethrower at you. They can aggro the other Zeds, though. Zeds can hurt each other if they use their abilities on them, or if they just melee each other. If they hurt each other enough, they'll just turn around and start beating each other's ass, which can be funny. But it's not worth it in the end. You know, you want the dosh for it. You want the XP for it if you're leveling up. So there is that. You want to kill these guys the moment you see them. These guys are scary. Just sitting there and constantly lobbing shots out, or using their flamethrower at close range. Only one class can sit there and just tank that shit, and that's the Firebug. But you don't want a class tanking that. Kill him. They have a gas tank on their back, which if you shoot it, sometimes even just once, depending on what weapon you're using, it'll just blow them up. It does massive damage to the Zeds that are around him. It doesn't affect teammates. When you shoot it and detonate it, nothing. But when the Zed is low on health, like really low, he'll run straight to you, just booking it, just straight to the closest player and shove his cannon into the ground and detonate himself and causing himself to blow up, which does friendly fire to Zeds and it hurts players, and it does a shitload of damage. So do not get close to him if he's doing that. If he is running straight for you, kill him. Do not let him get close. One last thing as well is when he shoots his fireball or his flamethrower, whichever one he does, he will leave ground fire. Like, just fire on the ground. Try not to step on it. It happens. It's not the end of the world, but it will shred your armor quite a bit, and it'll shred your health quite a bit if you're not Firebug. And the most annoying of the Zeds in the game, honestly, is the Edar. It stands for the Elite Defense and Assault Robot. There's 3 different variants: the Trapper, the Bomber, and the Blaster. And these are rated, in my opinion, the most annoying to the least annoying. Which I will repeat: the Trapper, the Bomber, and the Blaster. But if I had the power to remove them from the game, I would. I don't like the robots in my zombie game or my Zed game. But the Trapper shoots a beam of electricity out of his left arm that snares you in place. You can't move. The only way to get out of it is to shoot him, or if you're close enough, melee him, but normally that doesn't happen. The Bomber shoots rockets out of his shoulder pods that are on his, of course, top of his shoulders are right next to his head. And the Blaster shoots little laser beams out of his wrists, so kind of like the wrist rockets from Star Wars, or insert whatever thing that has like a little wrist gauntlet here. Which, oddly, the laser beams do explosive damage instead of bullet damage. Or projectile damage at all, so that's kind of weird. They will prioritize shooting you with their abilities rather than meleeing you. So you want to try to keep everything but the Trapper at a long range. since it's actually advisable, since they're easy to dodge, believe it or not. If you're not in a narrow like hall, like a very thin hall, they're easy to trap. The trapper won't miss though with his trapping gun, since if he has a clear line of sight, nothing in front of him, no Zeds blocking him, he's always gonna land that shit. I've never been able to dodge it. Like jumping, like crouching, nothing. But for the Edars, you want to shoot them in the chest. They have a little glowing chest piece in their like chest. Duh. It's a chest piece. Anyways, they have a little armor plate over it. You break the plate and you shoot it like once or twice with almost anything, and it'll die instantly. He'll have an EMP burst go off that deals damage to Zeds and stops them from using special abilities. I think it calms everything down too. Like their EMP burst is a little special, I believe. I might be wrong, but it's very advisable to shoot those guys in the chest, which changes the pacing of the game, which I don't mind that. It's just I don't like the robots in the game. And now we are at the large Zeds. The quarter pounder is the first one on the list. The smallest of the big Zeds, ironically enough. They have spinning little arms. They'll use to beat the brakes off you. They'll start revving them up when enraged. You'll hear them like scream a little, and they'll start sprinting at you. They won't cover their body with it, but the way they run, they kind of can cover it, because they kind of like Olympic sprint at you. But once that occurs, you got to be careful once they're raging. They're pretty fast. Like, they're deceptively fast. They deal a lot of damage if they're allowed to do. So just kill them when you see them. You'll do just fine. They make a noise when they spawn. Just take care of them. They will attempt to block though when they're not enraged. No, not enraged. So if you aim at them, they'll block their head and chest. They'll also attempt to dodge like high damaging attacks. Like if you shoot a rocket launcher at them, they'll try to dodge it. Normally they don't dodge it, but they can. They'll try to dodge grenades, stuff like that. Anything that they can notice that's gonna fly at them, they'll try to dodge. Pretty much. Now we have the Scrake. Massive Zed, black skin. He's got a surgeon's mask on and an apron. He's got a chainsaw for a right arm, and can pump out some serious damage if you let him. He has a global audio cue that you can't miss, that he has a scream and you hear a chainsaw revving, and the quarter pound and the Scrake scream are two different things, so you'll know when it's them or not. Nothing really special about them other than they will take quite a lot of damage, and they give it out just the same, so get ready to kill these guys when you're ready. Try not to enrage them. They do not enrage unless you shoot them or a rioteer rallying cries, so they're fine. When they're enraged or not enraged, they will try to block bullets with the chainsaw. When they're not enraged, their attacks are kind of single target. They're not very like reliant on their giant cleaves and all that, but once they do get enraged, their attacks are very wide, like very massive AoE. Like they sit there and stretch their arm out all the way and they lean into it, and they'll hit multiple players if they're allowed to. They can mess up your line of shooting and all that, and it's a whole mess. Just try to kill these guys before they get close and try not to accidentally enrage them, because it'll be a hell of a time if you can't kill them quick. Now we have the Flesh Pound. He is the biggest and the baddest of the large Zeds. Bigger, stronger, and better than the actual quarter pounders. They are similar to the quarter pounders, but when they run, they will block. They always block their chest. So when they're enraged, they'll always block their chest, which their chest is a weak point. Same with the quarter pounder. They have a glowing bin on their chest. You shoot it, weak spot. But their arms, their giant arms will block it. When they're walking to you, they'll block their face or their chest, depending on where you're shooting or aiming at. They're the same as a quarter pounder. They will try to dodge rockets unless they're raging. Dodge grenades, stuff like that. It's weird. They do enrage randomly. They can randomly rage. So there is that. So there's no getting around, like, not accidentally hitting them. If you see them, kill them. Get rid of them. And I think that's everything. They do have a sound that is similar to the quarter pounders, but it's a little deeper in audio. It takes a little bit to notice it between the two. So there is that. And now we are off to the last part of this section, which is the bosses. We have Dr. Hans Volter, an old ass scientist that is, honestly, he's really fast. He is deceptively fast for what he looks like and how he sounds. He's wears an exosuit. He dual wields the MKB 42H carbine rifles. It's an STG 44. He uses metal claws to slash you in melee and throws gas grenades at you anytime whenever he has an audio cue, and he'll just start chucking gas grenades. They're like bloat bile, but not as much like damage, and they're quite easy to dodge. He has a semi-health gate system where every time he loses about a quarter of his health, he gets a little bubble shield that you can destroy. When the shield's up, he chooses the player to attempt to grab him and to suck health out of him. Like, he's literally just sucking you like a juice box. Heals him while he does it. Most of the time, it's better just let him grab you if you can't deal a lot of damage in a short amount of time to pop the bubble. So, when he grabs you, he heals, his bubble goes away. End of story. Like, sometimes it's just better to let that happen, but if you can do enough damage, when you pop the bubble, he does fall over. So you can sit there and just beat his ass a little bit, and then when he's getting up, he's probably going to have to do the bubble shield all over again and just keep repeating the process. But if you do need a sacrifice for him, just send the field medic or the berserker. Let him get grabbed, since the field medic can just toss a grenade and let himself get grabbed. He's got DR now that he's got his perks active. Same with the berserker. You know, the berserker can just run in. He's going to heal a little bit through the grab, and he'll be fine. Other than that, just parry his attacks, parry his melee attacks, just stay in your corners so you don't get shredded by his bullets, and you're fine. You'll be able to kill his ass. Now, the Patriarch, he's an absolute meat machine. He's got a minigun with a missile launcher that somehow shoots out of the minigun. On his left arm, his left leg's robotic. He's got a tentacle poking out of his back and out of his right arm with a grabber mouth poking out of his stomach. This boss, he's going to either shoot you with the gun, lob a rocket at you, as in shoot it straight directly at you, or if you're behind cover, he can actually mortar it if the ceiling allows. He can shove you and send you flying, or just do normal melee attacks. Or he'll just try to grab you with a little mouth grabber and boot you across the fucking room if he does that. Pro tip, that mouth grabber does go through walls. So the wall will not protect you. Keep running. He does start off cloaked, and will stay that way until he either engages combat with the players or he's spotted, which when he's spotted by the commando, it doesn't really matter at that point. The cloak doesn't mean shit. So if he doesn't shoot you, if he doesn't melee you, shoot a rocket, whatever, he'll stay cloaked. Till then, just try to find the flickering, which his flickering is a little hard to see. But when his health does drop to 42.5%, he calls for aid of the lesser Zeds. I don't think he can spawn medium Zeds, and when he reaches roughly 35%, he will cloak and run away to try to heal himself to prolong the fight. But if you can corner him, like anywhere in the map, like get him stuck somewhere, like get in his path that he's running, is an easy W. This easy clapper is just parry his melee attacks, dodge his tentacle grab, and play around the corners to dodge bullets and missiles. You're set. So the King Fleshpound, even bigger, badder Fleshpound. He's got a crown covering his eyes, big ass arms that he'll beat the brakes off of you with. He's a Fleshpound, moves faster, more damage, takes less damage, more mechanics, more unique attacks that can hit multiple times. Treat this fight like it's a Fleshpound, but way scarier and a few extra steps. His extra steps are when he's got 75% health, he'll start, when he rages, he pounds the ground now that does AoE damage around him each time he hits the ground when he starts that in rage. And the last hit does slightly more damage. I couldn't give you exact numbers because it's fucking weird. I think the closer you are, the more damage it does. It's one of those things. Don't worry about it. Just stay away from him when he's enraging. When he does reach 60% health, he shoots a beam straight out of his chest. And it does a lot of damage if you get hit. A lot of damage. So you either need to crouch, get behind cover. Another player or a Zed does work, but that player is going to fucking hate you. Get below him or above him so his beam misses. He does summon Quarter Pounders from time to time to help him in the fight. They can get dangerous if there's too many of them, but compared to the King, they're nothing. So just blow him up, burst them down, and just continue to blow his ass up. And now we have the Abomination. A bigger, badder, fatter bloat that's covering head to toe in armor. So treat this as a Rioteer / bloat. Treat this fat ass just like that. He, ironically, farts out a unique unit called, specifically to him, called the Abomination Spawn, where they're just running bile mines. That's pretty much all they are. They will explode in AoE, just like the bile mine. When they get close, they leave behind no gas, though, but it gives you the same effect as if a bloat puked on you if you had actually stepped on a bile mine. He will also drop bile mines that you can detonate, destroy, just like you would a regular bloat's mines. He has a unique ability called Gorge that kind of turns into Kirby, where he starts to slurp you up. He stands still, you're locked into place, but you can turn your camera and aim and shoot to potentially knock him out of his grasp. I'm not 100% sure, but I've had times where I was shooting him and I gun bashed him and it got him off me, but that might have just been I just barely did enough damage with the gun bash to get out and, got out of his hungry maw. It will kill all Zeds, but other bosses and his spawns, though, so that could be a way to clear out the area with him doing that, but I think that also makes Abomination spawns, but I may be wrong there. So just treat it like a bloat, do what you can, break his armor. When his armor breaks, he falls over. I think every piece does that. I might be wrong, though. But when he does fall over, just chuck some nades at him, blow his ass up. End of story. Excuse me. And now the final boss, the Matriarch. If it's not obvious, she's a female. She's entombed in a mech suit with her plasma cannon on a left arm, claws on the right arm, robot legs, a helmet, a mechanical device on her back. She's only got a few weak spots that are fleshy, so try to go for the head and her cannon. She starts out with a bubble shield, just like how Strasser is, when he reaches a certain amount of health. Oh, wait, did I say that to Patriarch? Or King Fleshbound? Oh, shit, I'm so sorry. So, to circle back to King Fleshbound really fast, when he reaches about 30-ish% health, he does get a bubble shield as well. Which can halt the momentum of the fight, because bubble shields, I think, have different damage multipliers for things, so just be careful when he reaches that, because he can start to get really, really scary. But, anyways, back to the Matriarch. She starts with the bubble shield. It blocks all forms of damage, but it slowly gets chunked down when you shoot it. When it's broken, you don't have to worry about it ever coming back. She shoots plasma out of her plasma cannon. I know. You're shocked. That will light you on fire if hit and can shred your health and armor if you're hit by it. She can melee you with her various limbs and will do a blast of electricity when you're close to her in an area of effect. It's easy to spot, but it does a shitload of damage if you're too close. She does put her shield down doing these attacks, though. So you can skip the shield phase if you time your attacks correctly. You can also skip the phase of destroying her armor and all that if you just shoot her gun. Like, if you shoot her gun and you shoot her head, you skip that phase as well. She loses everything. 2 of her 4 mechanics are instantly dropped if you destroy those 2 things. But if you bring her bubble shield down or bring her to 75% health, she drops a shield. If you get her to 50% health or destroy her helmet and cannon, she'll drop the shield and lose both of those. But at that point, when she's at that point, she will do an AoE Siren Scream that does more damage, larger area of effect, or the lightning attack whenever she gets close, as well as meleeing. She can grapple you with her arm, but it's not very common. But when she does hit 25% health, she starts to cloak, and it's very hard to see her. She barely ever shimmers, and she stops using the AoE lightning attack. So she still has a Siren Scream, but she's cloaked, melee attacks, grapple, Siren. And now the game modes. There's survival. It's your regular Killing Floor 2 game mode. The original game mode. You have a choice of 3 different settings. Short, medium, and long. 4 rounds for short, 7 rounds for medium, 10 rounds for long. Starts you off in wave 1 with your starting gear, depending on the class you picked. It's this way for every game mode, so I'm not going to repeat that. And you must progress through the waves by popping the Zeds, and they'll send more dangerous Zeds and more of them the deeper you get into the waves. We have weeklies. These can be very fun, where it's the same as survival game mode, but they put a fun little twist to it where there's some modifier that makes it harder or easier depending on the perk you're playing as. An example would be Bobble Zed, where the Zeds have these big ass fucking heads, but their health is increased by a lot for their regular health, and their head health is increased some, but headshots are easy to get, so I wouldn't really play as Firebug or Demo for that game mode as an example, but Sharpshooter is going to have fun. Gunslinger is going to have fun. It's easy to get headshots that way. It's a good practice thing for when you're trying to do it. Get some headshots. Then we have Endless. It's a mixture of both survival and weekly, where some of the modifiers from weekly can show up in there. Like Bobble Zed can show up, Poundemonium. Excuse me. And then they have unique ones, like only slashers, or only sirens, or Skrakes, and stuff like that. It can be really fun depending on the map you're playing on. And specifically, one of the maps, I think it's Dissector, pun on Dissector, where you have to reach wave 25 on that map. It can get hectic, but if you practice, you got it. I was able to get it, shockingly. I unfortunately don't have the clip of that, because I was tweaking the fuck out. But we have Objective, which is an annoying as fuck game mode solo. I hate this game mode solo. But co-op, it's fine. If you can find a lobby, or if you actually have friends that want to play it, it's fun. It's easy. Just boom, done. It is painful to do these challenges solo, since they alternate. They can be, oh, weld this and do that and do this. But only one class welds fast, and one class is good at this, one class is good at that, so yada yada yada. But it is doable solo. Just get ready to rip your hair out and just headbutt the wall till you succeed. And I will say that Killing Floor 2, in its current rendition of the game, is a solid 7 out of 10. I'm not going to talk about the multiplayer because I've never gotten to play it. No one fucking plays it. So I'll say 0 out of 10 because I can't. Or actually, no, I can't say 0 out of 10. I'll say undecided out of 10 because I can't play it and no one plays it. I'm sorry if anyone was sitting there and all happy to hear about it, but tough titty. I will say that it looks fun. You can play as the boss of the Patriarch. You can play as the Zeds. It looks fun, but oh well. I heard it's kind of cheesy, though, if someone plays Firebug, and it's okay. But that about does it. 7 out of 10 for the score. I was riding solo for this one because none of my other boys really played it, and I didn't want to wait too long for another video, so good luck, Godspeed, and may the force be with you.